Hi guys, I'm Anita and I'm back with another video, and today is going to be my first time attempting to film a bullet journal video. Or well, I already filmed it and it, it definitely isn't as good as everyone else's is on BookTube, but you know, you have to start somewhere and I need to figure out how to set up the camera and stuff a little better because it's a little not a clean shot and it's difficult for you to see what's on the pages, but yeah, that's how it goes sometimes when you just film and try to do whatever you can. But this is my bullet journal, and in the next, I want to say 20 minutes, you'll see me talking about my spreads so far. It turned out a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, so I'll shut up now. Hi guys, I hope you'll be able to see the whole thing. I have tried to come up with a way of filming my bullet journal. Now first up, the bullet journal that I'm using is a soft Moleskine notebook in black in the medium sized. I would have loved to have a bigger one, like a larger one, but they don't come in these dotted versions that I'm using. They only come in lined. Lined, it just doesn't work for me with what I'm doing, I think, so far at least. I'll just flip through what I've been doing so far in my setup and what I'm planning to using it for. Now my bullet journal is only book related, which will show when I show it to you. First I'll show you what I've been doing, and yeah, let's get into how I'm setting it up. Let's move past my address because you don't need to see that. But this, you can see already here that it smeared a lot when I used that pen. This was the black pen, and the blue is my fiber tip pens, colored pens. And then I did an index which looks like this. I haven't filled anything in, so I probably should do that because I have numbered the pages from the first one, but I haven't actually put in any index yet. But it's free to do my indexes eventually, and I'll probably be doing that soon so that I don't forget to do it. And then the first page here is like, I did the error of actually making this January page first because it's not what the first couple of pages is going to be about. But this is how it turned out. It should have been coming a lot later, but yeah. And I'm not the very most artistic person, so it was just like the name of the month and a couple of triangles and then a snowman because it's winter. And that's what I was able to do. On the next page I have my reading challenge of reading 100 books. I have to fill in one more. I haven't updated it, but I just used the black pens to write it. So I've read a total of 18 books so far this year. I just finished one book this morning, so I decided to add that, and I hadn't updated my last book that I read for March yet. Sorry, February yet. The next page I have here is a sort of the series that I would like to start or work on. It's a mixture of things. It's not like I'm pressuring myself to read all of them, but these are the series I'd like to start, hopefully finish if I'm really good, but I don't think I will be able to. And some of the series I've just put down a number of books that I would like to get to in the series because they're pretty long. And if I read all of these books, I'll be reading 46 books, and yeah, I don't think I'll be able to because I have so many other obligations also this year, but could I at least get to half of these books, that would be awesome. At least some of the series that I would really like to make some progress in. So yeah, that was a bit about that. The next one this is probably a little difficult to read because it's only in pencil colors, but this is my Scandinavian literature TBR. If you're curious about the books and stuff, I have a link to the video where I'm talking about all of these books that I want to read. And as you can see here, I already highlighted one of them because I read that one. That's A Man Called Ove, and you'll hear about that in my wrap up. It should already be up by this time, so you can go and check that out. But it's not like I have to read all of these books over this year, but it's just a list of authors to check out from the library. So I always can look at this and plan my library hauls a little better. So that's what I'm going to use this for. The next 2 pages are my NetGalley books and my Kindle books. My NetGalley is terrible. I have read so few of my NetGalley requests. These are all books that are part of the Read Now books on NetGalley. And I have gathered these over the past 2 years, I think. I mean, the majority of them I got last year at some point. I think up until here are only from the year before. But my goal is to try when I won't be able to fit any in this month, but perhaps by next month or from May and onwards, I'd like to at least fit in one book, at least give it a try of say 50 to 80 pages before I decide if I want to read them, because I don't feel it's very fair that I got all these books and I don't give anything back. And then on this side page I have my Kindle books that I'd like to read. I already read one of those that I had intentions of reading this year, which is River of Teeth by Sarah Gailey. But this next page is my overview of the BookTube SFF Awards, all the shortlisted books in all of the categories, and I've put a minus sign on those that I'm not have any intention of reading, which are like 3 of them that I know for sure that I'm not gonna read, and there's some I might not read. And then I've put like a check mark with the ones that I did read, and I already read The Stone Sky before, so you can see I put the check mark there, and I read Down Among the Sticks and Bones, and now I also read All Systems Red by Martha Wells, so I could check that off as well. So now I only have 18 more books to read. So, long way to go. And on the next page is all of the BookTube SFF Babbles topics. And the first one is Urban Fantasy Recommendations, and you can see I checked out each box when I filmed it, edited it, and exported it, and uploaded it. And the next one is going to be Anti-Hero Stories, which I hope to film something. I don't have a lot of books that I've read in this genre, but I'd like to film something and talk about those that I did, and probably the books that I'm planning on trying to get to eventually. And this next one is just my most anticipated reads of 2018, which I already read the first one of those, which is Beneath the Sugar Sky, which was a bit disappointing to me. And as you see, I've only 12 books, so yeah. But I like how this page turned out. And then the next book is my TBR unwrappings and a little bookshelf that will show me the books that I've checked out from the library and the books that I have to read from the TBR unwrappings. And as you see, I've colored in this one because I finished another little, I didn't finish that. I DNF'd another little piece. But I did try to read it, so I crossed it off. It's not part of my reading any longer. And I read Attachments by Rainbow Rowell and filled that in. And up here, I read this one so I could fill that in. I sort of wanted to fill it in with the color that the cover had, but since some of them have white covers, I'll just put another color that represents like the front cover of it or something. And this one was blue, a lot, so I'm just gonna put blue. I don't remember what the color of the spine was actually looking like. So, and over this next month I hope to have finished the majority of these actually. The next pages are finally my January spreads actually. The first one I decided to put here is my January releases. So that is different than my most anticipated because I didn't realize a lot of these books before I put down those January releases. And all of these are books that are released in sci-fi and fantasy. And then I have a small section of books that I'm interested in from other sort of genres. And I have sort of highlighted the ones that I have access to immediately with different colors for where I got them from. The yellow one here is for my Kindle reads, and I already read that one, so I could checked it off over here, and I highlighted it with a yellow color. The pink one, this one, and these two, is for where I have access to it on Overdrive from my library. And the orange ones is when I have access to them from Storytel. And as you can see, again, this pen, it smears, so I think I'm gonna have to try and find some other pens to use. So if you have some suggestions for good pens that are easy to see and easy to write with, then please let me know. And this page is my January TBR. These were the 5 books that I put on the TBR, and I read 2 of them, and I started a third one, so I figure that is actually pretty okay considering that's more than half of them that I at least checked out. And I also finished the one I was currently reading when I started January, which was Theft of Swords by Michael J. Sullivan. And then down here I just noted that I participated in a readathon, which was 24 and 48, and those are the books. There was no challenges, but I read these 3 books for that readathon. And this, I actually really enjoy how this ended up looking, but this is my schedule of my booktube videos when they go live. And also I just colored in when I participate in readathon, but that's gonna be problematic when they overlap with my videos. So I don't know if I'll change that in the coming months, because you'll see that in my February spreads, because it looks a little wonky to me. But yeah, as you see, I have a plan to want to post videos at least twice a week. And I did that. I know that I also posted a video both the first, the second, and the third in this week, so I know that is covered as well. And otherwise, I have 2 at least in all of the weeks. And this next one is my January wrap up and my January page tracker. First up, I have my January wrap up where I just mentioned the book that I read and my star rating on the side. Just so I can see which books I read and what I rated them easily. I love this page, and this is an idea that I got from Lala from Books and Lala, because I saw her do this, but I have to change the amount of pages per day, because this day, and this day I read more than 330 pages, so you can actually see that I read over that. And I've decided to change my number of pages to 50 per these dividers, or whatever you want to call them, and try and yeah. But it's nice to see how much I read a day. I'll say this month is a little because I listen to about an hour a day, but I had to go for when the days that I updated my Goodreads page, because that was how I could actually check it, and how I could actually mark how much I read every day, because I started to do these pages a little late. But since then I have tried to update my Goodreads page every day with my reading, so that I can probably show how much I read a day. And you will see that it looks better for February already. And this is the start of my February spreads. And again, my artistic skills are not the best. This was supposed to be a frozen lake, but yeah, let's not talk too much about that. But the first page here is my February releases in SFF. And it turns out that it took up more space than I thought it would, because I had to do another page here. So before I start writing headers in my next month, I'll have to check how many books actually I have on my new releases. There are so many great February releases in SFF that I'm interested in. I mean, I know I'm not going to be reading all of them, and I possibly won't. But it's nice to know which books are out there, which books people are talking about, and possibly I'll be on the lookout for reviews of these, and maybe I'll cross some of them off. I'll never even consider reading them again, or reading them. And others, it's just nice to see which books I actually have at the ready immediately. And as again I said, the orange ones is the one I have access to from Storytel, and this pink one is the one I have access to from Overdrive. So I don't have to actually spend money on new releases. I can read them from the library, and still I hope to read at least once one book a month from next month and onwards, and then maybe possibly make a review of it when I've read it. So yeah, it's nice to have a bit of books to choose between. And on my February TBR I have 6 books that I wanted to read, and I had 4 books that I was already reading going into February. I DNF'd 1 book that I was reading, and I read one of my TBR books, and I am working on The Stand, and I'm also working on Europe in Autumn, so that's why I put those wavy signs there. And then I was still reading Artemis when I started February, but I read that in the first week or so. And these are the readathons that I participated in, but yeah, I forgot to write the title of the thriller-a-thon up there. But I don't think this setup works for me because I can't really fit in the books. But we'll see how it goes in later months. But as I said, I had a couple more new releases that I'm interested in. These are also SFF releases, and this is the only one I was interested in that was not SFF. I'll just put... You tell I did the N wrong. And then my February wrap up. I didn't read a lot of books this month, but I spent a lot of time listening to The Stand, and I didn't finish that. And a lot of my reading comes from my audios. But here, as you can see, this looks a bit wonky because you can see the page tracker through this, and it doesn't really look good. But also all of the readathons and the video uploading and all of that, it just looks a little weird. But as you can see, I already posted at least 2 videos. I almost posted 3 videos every month, every week this month. So I'm really happy about that. I forgot to make a headline. How did I do the first one? And then finally you'll see my February page tracker. And as you can see, it's a little more divided, but I still had one day that surpassed 330 pages of reading. Yeah. But this was the spreads that I've been doing so far. So that was my bullet journal flip through. Anyway, this was all I had for you today. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye!